G'day guys, it's John McKenzie from staffleverage.com. I've got Dan from Staff Leverage, Marie-Clare from Staff Leverage, and George from You Break I Fix NT. So welcome, people.
Hi.
Hello.
Yeah, so George, it's great to have you on, and let's just talk a little bit about what your business is. So when I read or hear you break I fix NT, do you work in the government? Are you fixing government problems where you step in there? You know, they've been breaking it for a number of years, probably for a decade, to be honest. And do you just step in there and just say, "Hey, I'm the Mr. Fix It man"? Is that how it works?
I'd love to be honest. Yeah, I can't wait to get a big job like that.
So you do work for government. So you are the government man, or the government departments. The bureaucracies are very bad at what they do. You step in and just organisational change them. Yeah.
I have fixed stuff for people in the government, but no government paychecks just yet. So
tell us about what you do. Tell us about what you do.
I fix electronics, so mobile phones, tablets, computers, laptops, anything really that people want. Consoles, games, yeah. I'm always expanding, always trying to learn new things. So just anything.
That's in the technical element, like screens and also other things that go awry.
Yeah. Everything from setting up emails to fitting SIM cards.
I was going to say, George, you are going to be one popular person in any family household, because I don't know about other families out there, but my phone, even this one right here, big cracks in it. Sometimes you just don't know where to go.
That's it. I mean, kids get iPads and they throw them like grenades, and they always break. And people blame the children all the time, but who knows if it's always them? But yeah, things have tendency to break, and just gravity.
Yeah. Well, we can tell you right now, I've got about 2 or 3 broken phones sitting in this household right now.
There we go. Business already coming through the door.
That's it.
So I keep saying that we live in the age of innovation or the age of disruption. Maybe we live in the age of breakage.
Replaceable items, but George is here to save us, to fix them. I think it's great.
We've got a saviour now, so it's pretty good. So we've got George in You Break I Fix It NT, and he's the man if anyone needs to get something broken that's fixed. So, well, he is, isn't he? If it's not broken, don't fix it. But maybe you do. So we've
I can also break them as well.
Yeah, well, I keep breaking things in the wrong order. But today tonight we've come together to actually have a bit of a chat around fake news, fake social, fake followers, and what's real in the world. So there's a lot in that. Because let's face it, we've got the Cambridge Analytica debacle that sort of Facebook fell into. We've got the GDPR, which is changing the landscape of privacy, I guess, in Europe. And a lot of other countries are going to keep changing their privacy laws to follow in place. But when we have a look at fake social and fake followers as well, there's a lot in that space. So, George, what have you seen in the marketplace when you have a look at any one of those titles on how businesses are interacting with social media or with the world? Just what your view on those things are.
So when I started the business, I had a look using social media to see who the players were, how good they were, how many followers they had, how many reviews. And I did notice that a lot of the reviews were copied and pasted because there was a few of the same review on the same page. And from people that are using stock photos as profile images. So you can definitely tell a real review from a fake review. You can also tell most times a review that's borderline extortion, because as we all know, going through retail, the customer's always right. So it's not necessarily a fake review in that respect, but it's still not truthful. So definitely I've seen fake reviews, fake followers from people that aren't trying very hard just to pump the numbers up. So definitely seen it.
Has anyone else seen it in the marketplace? Yeah. So, MC, have you seen anything else in the marketplace that shows, those elements that's a bit of a problem in the world today?
Well, that's really interesting that, George, you talk about those reviews, because I hadn't thought of it like that before. But I am watching a TV series at the moment. Some of you may have seen it, where you can call up and buy people that can, log on to your accounts and, sign up or like your Facebook page and all those sorts of things. And you can do it in the thousands if you go to a country that's got thousands of people sitting in a big, office block. So, yeah, I know that I have heard that you can buy them. But what I wonder about is what kind of impact does that have when, especially if I think of Facebook, if you go and buy, I don't know, 1,000 likes, how does that affect the future analytics that you're going to perform to be able to reach new customers? I mean, my thing is, what are you guys seeing?
Yeah, if I could step in there. Look, it's a really interesting space. Going back about 7 or 8 years ago, I saw there was an uptake in when you step into like a second or third world country from a Facebook ad perspective, you can actually target that location and basically buy, low quality, low cost, likes into your organization. Now, I've seen a lot of businesses do that. In fact, I've seen a number of locals doing that, and you can tell by having a look at the quality or the percentage of their followers. So they've got like 10 or 15,000 followers. And then if you have a look at who those followers are, you can actually see that there's a lot of people that don't live in Australia. So you can see that they've bought likes, they've bought some form of, follow-up. But then what you also do is have a look at what level of engagement they've got. So if the level of engagement is completely out of kilter, it just didn't deliver what the end game was. So it's all about ego, saying I've got 10, and beating the chest and say, hey, I've got 10,000 likes, I've got 50,000 likes, I've got 100,000 likes. But when I was over in social media marketing world over in San Diego, we actually talked a lot about this and also about the Facebook algorithm that's changing at the moment. And the algorithm's changing to meaningful engagement. So what that actually means, it's not about likes, it's actually more about comments. So are people meaningfully engaging with the quality that's coming into the Facebook or social media world or social media space? Now, when you have a look at if we're going out and buying fake social, fake followers, they're not engaging. So what it's actually doing is it's pushing down the page from an algorithm perspective. So it's actually having a negative impact on that business and on their organic reach in their local market. Because what the algorithm's actually doing at the moment is it's actually having a look at that particular page and saying, hey, what level of meaningful interaction are they having with their audience, with their followers? 15,000 followers, 2 people have liked it. And it goes, hey, that's not that meaningful. Let's kick it out of the organic rank, reach. And that's what's happening in the real world today. Dan, over to you. Perhaps have a bit of a view on what you've seen in the local market, even in the global market in this space, and perhaps fake news as well.
Well, the things that I've sort of been seeing, like, coming from a couple of different companies, is exactly what you're saying. There's been a lot of companies going out, getting a lot of likes, and that's what I was actually going to ask you, what your view was. If they've got 15,000 likes, they're doing a Facebook post, they're only getting 1 or 2 comments on their screen. Obviously, that cannot be helping them. So if you've got a company, okay, you've only got 700 people that like your page. If you get 5 people that comment on that page, and you had the other person that had 15,000 likes on their page and they've only got 5 comments on that, obviously the smaller company would have to be winning at that stage, wouldn't they?
So just something on that, Dan. I actually conducted a social experiment back in November and December this year on Facebook, and unfortunately, some of my Facebook friends were actually part of that social experiment on Facebook. So what I actually did, I noticed that I had probably about 600 or 700 people in my personal Facebook connection list. So we're connected, we'd liked each other, we were there. Now, what I did is I cut it down to 250 people. And at the time, I was speaking to MC and a few other people, and they said, why would I do such a thing? But what I realized was when I cut that down and I started working on the people that were actively engaged with me anyway, my reach into their feed went through the roof, right? So I was now talking to the people that cared the most about whatever I was communicating. So it's not about how many people you've got on your Facebook page or in your personal Facebook It's about how many people are you meaningfully interacting with. Can they see that that feed and go, wow, I'm engaging with that content and then doing something with it. So subsequently, I've come back and re-engaged with a lot of those people to recover that. But that social experiment, I can tell you, that my reach into their Facebook feeds went through the roof. It was like 1,000%.
Yeah, and that sort of shows the way that Facebook want it to be. It's called social media for a reason, and they want you to be social, don't they? They don't want you just to put a post up and leave it. Let all your, if you've got a lot of people liking and commenting, they want you to comment back. Like, they see that, and they help you rank so much more if you're actually doing that side of things as well.
Yeah, spot on. So let's flick over to George and say, so George, how do you see your social reach or your meaningful interaction going with your business at the moment? Do you see that improving and getting better, and how are you actually operating there?
Just quickly, I want to go back to what Murray was saying about likes and buying likes. There was a stage, it may still happen now. There's a prison in Korea somewhere that was forcing prisoners to play a game called World of Warcraft in order to make money in the game to sell to people. And that was the prisoner's job, was to do medial tasks in the game to get fake money, which was being sold online for real money. So, buying likes, whatever, is a big business. But with my sort of thing, when I first started, I was doing giveaways, left, right, and center, like and share. And it was, I could count people on my hand who would like and share it in the very beginning. So if you're a nobody trying to give something away, it's hard. And it was worth $100 and something, the prize was. All I wanted was likes and shares. So I couldn't even buy them. And now I've noticed that it's becoming easier as more people are seeing it, more people are tuning in, whether Facebook is going, oh, they've seen it once, maybe they want to see it again. So, I find that a lot of people post controversial things in their messages to try and push it more, whether or not that's to boost the post or to actually get some sort of interaction. But I could post a picture of, Kim or Donald Trump and then go, this broken phone, I've seen it on Buy Swap and Sell pages lately. Someone will post a picture of, say, a lamp, and then put a picture of Kim Jong there. And then someone will ask, oh, why'd you put that picture there? And even though it's not helping them sell the lamp, it's bringing attention to the post that normally wouldn't have been there. So people are doing things now very strangely. And same even goes with like memes and stuff. People are so worried lately that memes are being stolen that they're splitting them up into two images so people can't screenshot the single meme and share it. Copyright sort of stuff. So they split the meme up. It's just becoming ridiculous. But for me, I don't get much interaction with my, before and afters very much. It's more like competitions maybe now. I do guess what happened to this phone, guess how it broke, guess what phone it is when it's in a million pieces. But I don't really look too much into the insights. I just try and do everything I can and then try and teach people through uploading photos and videos of what I do, doing live videos of repairs. So, and then just building, I wish I knew the secret to getting more followers, but
does that constitute fake news, or is that actually live, organic, working on the product?
Yeah, so it's all live stuff. There's no fake news. I've got no political views because I don't understand it. So, what do they call it? More wings than a biplane.
What? More what?
Where are you going with that, MC?
Oh, I was just going to say to George that what I've noticed by watching a bit of what you've got going on is you're not just social online. You're out and about everywhere. You're getting known as a person, and you try and be in front of as many people as possible. And it's just so critical because not only do you get to see more people that way? But you're posting about it as well, and that creates engagement. So yeah, I think that's definitely something that a lot of people, they sit back behind their computer or their phone and they don't get out. So yeah, it's really critical to do that.
I like to be transparent in everything, honest in everything, and if people want to engage me, whether it's coming into the shop or me going out to them to help them in some way, I will, because it's not always about making money for me. It's more about helping them. So, I mean, there is money involved, obviously. In the end, you want to create fans, like John was saying. And I have people now that on Facebook that I've only done small jobs for, but it meant so much to them that every time a post comes up about anything to do with repairing, they bombard my name. And they don't owe me anything, but they do it because they appreciate it. So we're involved a little bit with Hot 100, not so much on the radio, but more doing giveaways, interacting with people. And they told me that most business owners who engage with Hot 100 and do giveaways where the van comes to you and you steal the guy's coffee sort of thing, the business owner is never there. They just give a few things away and go, give these away. But I go out to people and talk to them because I want to spread it further, any chance I can get to push the name and just take the scariness away from technology, because it's not all scary. We're not all Telstra trying to get your money for everything and sign up for contracts. So yeah, but you're right. I try and be everywhere.
Really smart.
I'm only one man army at the moment, so it's all me. I can control everything, at least then that way. Quality control, customer service department,
the complaints department.
The complaints department, that's right.
So
extortion department.
So we might actually flick over to Dan. So Dan, it was just interesting that George actually touched on, he was talking about news or actually being honest and having an integrity there. One of the challenges I see in the market today is there's a lot of businesses there, or perhaps people in the market, where they're just not real. They're delivering product that mightn't be as good as what it could be, but they're actually telling some untruths along the way. Do you see that when you're engaging with sales or with real businesses in the real world?
So, a few of the businesses that I've actually seen firsthand. So, they'll come in selling products, obviously. They'll promise the world, and when they actually sell the product, they don't mind asking for the money up front. But all of a sudden, they start disappearing. They start getting the money off you. They'll start doing a couple of, mock-up products of what they're going to be selling, and all of a sudden they start getting harder to get in contact with. Starting to deal with them is getting a bit harder. It's just, there is a few businesses out there that people have to be careful with, because they promise the world, but they don't deliver what they're promising. So, and I'm guessing George might see it a little bit as well. Like I've had, for instance, I've even had a iPad screen repaired. And they said they could do it, no worries, it was going to be a perfect job. And it come back and you could see the glue behind the screen, and it just wasn't the way it was meant to be. So I think there is some businesses out there that you got to be careful of, and just get to know the people before you spend your money with them. It's pretty easy, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's a segue back over to MC, because look, I want to explore that further, because I do see like a lot of challenges in the marketplace in that trust. How do people convey trust? It's the old adage: people buy from people they know, they like, they trust. And at the moment, I'm still seeing massive challenges in there. So in the modern world, and we look at fake news, we look at fake followers and fake social. So MC, how do you see the businesses can overcome some of these problems that we all know to be real, so a business can reach more of their target audience?
Well, I think for me, the number one thing is the time it takes to be able to be liked, be known and be trusted, because a lot of our businesses aren't transaction based anymore. They're about having a relationship, because otherwise you just go online and you won't have a relationship with a person or a business. So I think it's about being realistic about how long it takes. Like, just because you meet somebody doesn't mean that they're going to buy from you within that first meeting. Like you really need to get to know them, which means, like George said, he just goes out of his way. He goes to the people, or is there for them and honest with them and transparent. And I mean, that's half the battle. Like people feel like you're being sold to, because they're like, okay, cool, let's do a transaction. It just doesn't work like that these days. I mean, if I first meet someone, one of my strategies I use is I'll connect with them on Messenger. Not long afterwards, if we've been at an event together, I'll take a photo of us and I'll send it to them. Just anything that gets that next connection that's a bit more meaningful. And I just don't see a lot of businesses doing that. I've seen some do it really well, and I'm always impressed by those.
So I'm going to interrupt.
Sorry.
What would you do different? So we know the businesses are out there doing that, right? We see it all the time. We're paying attention to it, not only in Australia, but all around, not only the NT, but Australia, but also around the world. So if you see these businesses, I call them the analog business, traditional businesses doing it the old way and having really changed. And we actually live in the digital age. So we talk about this all the time. So what would you actually suggest to businesses that they need to go do to actually break away from the fake news, the fake social, and the fake followers? How do they break out of that? And half the time they're not even doing that, but how do they do that and step into the digital world to find people that know them, like them, trust them? What process do you think they should take?
I think they need to use the social digital spaces that are available to them. I mean, we all have some kind of social media account which connects us to other people, but it's about using it. Like people say to me all the time, you're so good on Messenger, you get back to people, and it's like, they say, how do you do that? But it's not about how, it's that I do. So, and I have this conversation with people all the time. They say, I hate Facebook, or I can't use LinkedIn, all these sort of reasons of why they don't want to do it. But in our new world, and certainly in business, like that's how you have to connect these days, because everyone has their phone, everyone's on some sort of account, and you've got to go to the people. So go to where they are. Is that what you're getting at, John, in terms of the difference?
I'm going to flip it over to George. So, George, you're on notice at the moment. So, you see, once again, people using social media. You've seen how your social media has changed, as you've been in business, and you're getting more organic engagement, right? So, you've actually seen how that's moved. And we've both got connections with people that actually, do quite well in it. What are you seeing that they're doing different to the business or to the operator that's still doing it the old way?
They're putting a face to what they do. They're putting some sort of backstory, because we all have families. We all have, I don't know how to explain it. I like to show people how things work. Put a face to it. Put some sort of emotion to it. Not just go, here's a service. This costs this much, and just because. You give away what you always talk about, golden nuggets of information. You give tips to people that cost them nothing. It's almost counterproductive, but it's not, because they tune in and they want to learn more about how everything works, what industry you're in, whatever. It's all customer service. So they put the business on a personal level, because we're all people. So if you can connect to them in that way, and yeah, a lot of the businesses I've seen do well on social media use a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff, a lot of humor, a lot of quotes of the day, a lot of, and it's all different levels of engagement, because everyone reacts differently to things. Some people don't care how you do things. Some people just want it done, you got to hit it a few different ways, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's perfect. Exactly what you're saying, though, isn't it? If you're going to be out there,
being very personal is good.
Yeah. If you're going to be out there showing people, educating them, teaching them how you're actually doing things, are they going to trust you more than the person down the road that just says, "Yep, I can fix it. Don't worry about how it's done. We'll get it done"? Or are they going to, get in contact with someone like yourself that doesn't mind showing them the process? This is how we do it in front of people. This is why we're best.
Yeah. I mean, they all often comment about my grey hair, because I'm always looking down and they see the grey hair while I'm working on things under the lights. And I'm only 28, but, I find that if you take away the scariness, like some people are worried about the technology, worried it's going to cost them too much. They're worried they get overcharged because they don't know. So I explain to them, this is what it should look like. This is why things are the way they are. You brought me in something that's been fixed before that's buggered. Let me show you what it should look like. So next time you don't get duped by whomever. No naming names, but people like to be explained to, and sharing background stories is good. Like, because they can all relate to some level. They've all got families. Maybe if you bring the dog to work today and you take a photo of the dog, hanging out with you in the territory, that would go off because people love it.
I want to step in here. So I guess all three of you have actually said something. There's nuggets of gold in what you've just said there, right? So MC led with just do an act, 100%. Just get behind it. In the modern world, in the digital world, no one. There's very few of us that love getting out in front of the video, talking, seeing ourselves, and seeing our perfect imperfections, right? So we don't love that. We hate it, right? So, but that's the thing. We've got to get out. We've got to do an act. George, you actually talked, a lot about, being the face of it. Doing it, right? So, excuse me, you're doing that within your business, and people can see you, and you're educating them. And Dan, you touched on and reinforced that the education and the win. And we all know that. It's counterproductive, or it seems counterproductive when we say, hey, this is how you do it. This is what you need to do. And then when you create value, it ends up leading...
Creating value. That's it.
And it leads to sales, right? So it's crazy when we talk about, when we talk fake news, we talk about fake social, fake followers. All people want to do is actually understand and meet the authentic you, right? And how do we do that? It's actually engaging...
Be yourself. Warts and all.
Warts and all. So we've all just got to go out there and just be who we are, and then we will find our native, followers that say, "Hey, I connect to that person in whatever way for whatever reason, and love them."
That's true. And like you touched on it, a few of you did about sharing your story. Like I know, John, you always talk about that, but it's so true. Like if you can share a bit of yourself with others. And share some of the story, even if it's something quite vulnerable, which is really quite confronting, but people relate to you about that because they too have a story and they too want to share it. So, I think people will trust you if you can trust them.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like when you're scrolling through your news feed, every time you're looking through it, the last thing you want to see every time is the same person trying to sell you the same product. If it's that company, and you're starting to get to know them a little bit more, seeing inside how their business works and all that, it is so much better than just seeing the same sales pitch every single time you log on.
And spot on.
Yeah.
And that's a really good way to finish. We might wrap it up because we've probably been on for a bit, but, it's about change. It's about engaging. It's being authentic. It's the face of it, just getting out, acting and doing and educating, finding that value. George, it's been a pleasure, my friend. You break iFixit into the #1 screen repairer and device repairer in Darwin and certainly Northern Territory. Thank you, brother, for coming on. Marie-Clare, it's certainly always a pleasure. You certainly got a better face for Facebook Live than what I have, so I appreciate it. And Dan, the up and coming social media. It's a very big compliment. I've actually got a face for radio, not a face for Facebook Live. We'll leave that there. And certainly, Dan, thank you, my friend, coming on board and being the up and coming social media guru. Look out, guys. He's got some really cool strategies in Instagram. So. Thank you for joining us here today on our fake news, fake social, and fake followers edition, and we'll see you on the flip side.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye. See ya.